Hi, I'm Dr. Clemens. Welcome to Chapter 1, Introduction to Inclusion. The act of observing and reflecting on our own practices can be an enlightening experience, enabling us to see ourselves more clearly and to formulate ways of working that are more effective and that enhance the lives of people. Think about the meaning of inclusion. Write down what comes to mind. What images do you see? What thoughts do you have? What beliefs do you hold? What actions do you imagine? This first impression will influence your judgment and interaction with others. Look past the categories in which you might put someone. See the person before you see an individual with hopes, dreams, and struggles just like your own. When you thought about inclusion and imagined what it would be like, what was the image, thought, belief, or action? One of acceptance? Was it positive or negative? Did it lead you to tolerance or intolerance? Do you believe it has formed your current beliefs of inclusion? Whatever the image, where did it come from? A way of being with others that is welcoming is defining inclusion. It's respectful and it values experience, knowledge, and abilities. Being invited to typical opportunities with friends and family and being welcomed as an equal participant. Having the necessary support to be successful. Both a mindset and a process. Relevant to recreation and life in general. Here are some related concepts to inclusion: diversity, culture, prejudice, stereotypes. Diversity. Human qualities that are present in others but are different and outside the groups to which we belong. Examples might be age, gender, and race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, physical ability. These focus on the individual. Culture. Patterns, beliefs, or practices expressed by or expressions of a particular group. Personal interactions, decisions, behaviors, and the like reflect and are influenced by our culture. Cultural awareness and sensitivity among leaders and participants foster inclusion. Prejudice involves drawing conclusions without examining the facts. These conclusions lead to unfair judgments, manifest as a negative feeling or attitude, in suspicion, hatred, or lack of concern. Stereotypes, oversimplifying the characteristics used to label people from a group or culture. What are some common stereotypes? Diversity laws. There's a Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990. Let's talk about these. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed racial segregation in schools, public races, and the workplace. It prohibited discrimination based on these factors: race, color, and nation and origin, and national origin. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973 ensured people with disabilities basic civil rights protection and against discrimination. Federally funded programs must offer people with disabilities equal opportunity for participation. Municipal recreation departments, public schools, and state institutions are included in this. Americans with Disabilities Act, also known as a federal mandate that provided equal access to recreation opportunities for all people. It covers these issues: physical accessibility, program accessibility, and inclusion. Demographics and diversity. Statistics suggest that our society is very diverse in regard to many characteristics: age, education, disability status, and race and ethnicity. Community leaders who learn what individual recreation needs exist within the community can develop programs that appeal to many people. There are 6 strategies for inclusion. You are welcome to register. Let's talk about your needs. We'll assess the situation to support you. Recreate and enjoy. We will be there to observe and evaluate, and let's communicate as a team. Here are some barriers to inclusion: transportation, structural, economic, social and attitudinal, psychological, communication, and programmatic. The benefits of inclusion can include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. More specifically, independence, choice, equal opportunity, freedom to pursue interests and dreams, meaningfulness in daily life, and awareness and acceptance of one another. The general process includes common elements, assessment of the person and the program, implementation of accommodations, observation of the person's progress, determination of any necessary changes, and documentation of the person's outcome. There is no one way to implement inclusion that will work for everyone. In summary, what are your second impressions of inclusion? How are these similar to or different from your first impressions? And what can you commit to do next to support inclusion efforts?